Hey Goliath, you look pretty big. Me, on the other hand, I'm just a little kid. So what? I may not be strong as you. There is something about me you don't know. Here's the truth, see? You stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the name of the Lord, yeah. You stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the power of the Lord, yeah. Hey, hey Goliath. Hey, hey Goliath. Hey, hey Goliath. Hey, hey Goliath. Hey, hey Goliath, if only you knew. You think you're fighting me, but you're really fighting too. The battle's not mine, it belongs to the Lord. Greater is the one who's in me than any in the world. So you stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the name of the Lord, yeah. You stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the power of the Lord, yeah. Hey, hey Goliath. Hey, hey Goliath. Hey, hey Goliath. Hey, hey Goliath. Hey, hey Goliath, go ahead and laugh. I got a couple pebbles hidden in this bag. When I raise my arm, when I start to swing, I'ma knock you out with just a rock and a sling, yeah. You stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the name of the Lord, yeah. You stand before me with your shield and sword, but I stand before you in the power of the Lord, yeah. Hey, hey Goliath. 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 Stand before me with your shield and hey, hey Goliath. Stand before you with the name of hey, hey Goliath. Stand before me with your shield.
everyone. Let's do a quick review of the 3 silly things we've been talking about for the past 3 weeks. Do you remember the first silly thing we talked about? And for this one, I will give you a hint. Ooh, look at that picture. Games, friendship bracelet, basketball. What was the first silly thing that we talked about? That's right, it is ignoring rules. Ignoring rules is a silly thing we can do in life. It makes us not understand how life works. Great. Now let's talk about the second thing we do in life that makes us unhappy. And here is the clue. Unhappy fruits and unhappy animals. Does that ring a bell, anyone? That's right. The second silly thing we do that makes us unhappy is comparing with others. Comparing with others does nobody no good, and it's pointless because we were never meant to be someone else. We are meant to be us. Great! Now let's talk about the third silly thing we learned from last week. And the big clue here is this. And this one, I am not going to include a picture to make it a little bit harder. And it is this. 10,000 talents and 100 denarii. Can anyone remember what that was about? That's right. The third silly thing we do in life that makes us unhappy is not forgiving. Not forgiving makes us unhappy, and it makes us forget that all of us were forgiven by God to the greatest degree you could imagine. All right, that was a great review of the last 3 weeks, and now we're ready to talk about the fourth silly thing that we do in life that makes us unhappy. Are you guys ready? Kids, the fourth silly thing we do in life is being negative. Kids, have you heard people say things like this? Oh, I know everything about that. That's so boring. I don't want to do that again. That's impossible. That'll never work. Only if you said that the first time, we wouldn't be in this mess. Come on, do you really think that will make a difference? Well, what if it doesn't work? What if it fails? Kids, at first, being negative can kind of sound cool. It makes you sound like you know something that other people don't. And some people actually think being negative makes them sound smart. But let me tell you why being negative is the silliest thing you can do. There are actually 3 reasons why being negative is so silly. But before we learn all about that, let's hear this week's Bible verse, which is James chapter 3, verse 8. And this week, I have a special reader who is Andrew, my nephew who lives in Texas.
James chapter 3, verse 8. But no human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison.
Thank you so much, Andrew. That was great. Now, based on this important verse we just read, I'm going to share with you why being negative is silly. First of all, being negative is really silly because it's the easiest thing you can do. Kids, life is not perfect. People are not perfect. You are not perfect. What that means is being negative is the easiest thing you can do. Let me just show you how easy it is to be negative. Look at my hair. It's so ugly. Why does it have to be so gloomy and windy today? Why is my family so loud all the time? Can they just be quiet? This pandemic is awful. Why did it have to happen when I'm alive? My cousins are so annoying. Mom always makes the same thing for Thanksgiving. Can't we enjoy something else instead? I hate Korean food. I hate American food. I didn't want to watch this movie. I wanted to watch another movie. My sister is so annoying. She should stop telling people what to do. My brother really could help out a little more. Why is he so dense? Kids, if I wanted, I could complain and complain and complain and be negative all day long. It's the easiest thing to do in life. And that's why it is silly to be negative. Because being negative is the most obvious and easy thing you can do. Now, there's a second reason why being negative is so silly, and this comes from the second half of James chapter 3, verse 8. When you look at this verse, it says that our tongue, when we are being negative and deceitful and violent with our use of words, it is deadly poison to us. Kids, I want you to think about the most negative people you know. There's something you need to know about them, and it is that they are never happy people. They may be kind of cool. They may kind of sound smart too. They may think they are the very best, but what they will never be is happy. You see, when you use negative words, those negative words become poison to your own soul. And it poisons your own heart and your mind. And it's like the negativity clouds your vision, and that's all you see. And that's why being negative is silly. Over the Thanksgiving break, I taught my nephews how to make these really cool airplanes. And these, when you throw them right, come right back at you. But as we were making this, I was reminded how this airplane, when it comes back to you, is like those negative words. You may throw your negative words at someone, thinking you're cool and smart, but it comes right back at you, and it hits you, and it affects your entire body and soul. And my nephews, Timothy and Andrew, will demonstrate how.
I'm mad at you, I'm mad at the TV, I'm mad at you, and I'm still mad at you, everything stinks. Yeah! Ah!
I'm mad at everything because everybody hates me. Oh my!
Thank you, boys, for helping me to demonstrate that point. In fact, being negative is so poisonous. In James chapter 3, verse 6, this is what the Bible says about being negative. It says, "The tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. The tongue is set among our members, staining the whole body, setting on fire the entire course of life, and set on fire by hell." Whoa. So, what that's saying is that our tongue that we use to say negative things is like a fire that burns our entire body, and it burns our entire life, and this fire is set by hell, meaning negative words come from the devil. So boys and girls, you see why being negative is so silly? It is the easiest thing you can do, and it is something that quickly poisons you. Now, as a third reason, I want to share with you why it is silly to be negative. When you get a little bit older and get to my age, you will realize being negative is the easiest thing you can do because life is not perfect. A lot of things go wrong. In fact, almost everything goes the way you did not plan. What that means is the easiest thing you can do is complain, be negative, negative. But this goes totally opposite direction of what Jesus taught us to do. Boys and girls, there are 3 words that I can think of when I think of the opposite of being negative. And they are being faithful, being hopeful, and being positive. You see, you cannot be negative when you are being faithful and hopeful and positive. And guess what? This is how Jesus taught us to live. You see, Jesus promised us victory and happy ending in Him. What that means is no matter how hard life is, no matter how bad things seem to go, we have a happy ending in place. So that gives us all the reason to remain faithful, hopeful, and positive even when the worst things happen in life. And you see, that is exactly how you and I become salt and light in this world. Look around the world. There are so many negative people, so many negative comments. Just think about the last presidential debate. People are unhappy and negative, and they think they're being smart and cool by being negative. But if we truly want to be happy the way God has intended us to be, we need to choose a different way to live. And that different way is to be faithful, hopeful, and positive. And when we do that, that is how we become salt and light in this terribly negative world that we live in. Boys and girls, I want you to think about that negative person who said those negative things to you. And I want you to be reminded of this Bible verse. Do not conform to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Let us let go of negativity that is silly, that is poison, and that is the opposite of how Jesus taught us to live. And let us choose to be faithful, hopeful, and positive even when we face difficulties in life. And when we do that, we will be one step closer to being happy and thankful as God intended life to be. Kids, I want you and me to be happy people. And to do that, I want you to remember these 4 things. Do not ignore rules. Do not compare. Forgive one another. And choose to be faithful and hopeful instead of being negative. When you remember these things, I know that in God you can have a happy, blessed life. So, let the spirit of Thanksgiving continue on all the days of our life. Have a wonderful week, you guys, and I will see you next week as we prepare now for Advent. Have a great week, everyone.